6 years into working in the corporate world, I accepted my first manager position. But that promotion didn't come out of nowhere. Let me share with you how I got there, some of the lessons learned along the way, and more importantly, talk about a missed opportunity that could have made me a manager 2 years earlier if it wasn't for imposter syndrome. My journey as a software engineer started in 2006. I remember the first ticket I had to fix. Suddenly, I was staring at this massive code base, and there's no school assignment that can prepare you for this. We're talking about hundreds of files and millions of lines of code. It was overwhelming at first. But the most important thing I learned during my first role there was discipline. And trust me, I didn't like it at first. But let me tell you why that discipline became the foundation for my success in tech. At this job, I learned about test-driven development, I learned about code reviews, I learned clean code, I learned about agile practices, stand-ups, pair programming, I learned how to embrace new technologies. We rewrote our entire application from Java to PHP in less than 6 months, and we cleaned up the code and the business logic along the way. We embraced Agile at a time when it wasn't even popular and it was just starting to take off. We started using technologies like MongoDB, and back then it was a year old, I think, when we started using it, and it went against the relational database that we were taught about in school. At first, I resisted it all. TDD didn't make sense to me at first. I was even doing it backward, where I'd start writing my code, and once I'm done, then I'll start adding the test coverage afterward. I hated stand-ups, daily stand-ups. I felt like the company didn't trust me and needed to know what I was doing every single day. And it's because we've been doing waterfall for years, and this was a whole new way of working that I wasn't used to. To say that this role taught me discipline is an understatement. It really gave me the foundation to believe in the power of discipline, which set me up on a career-changing journey of driving engineering excellence everywhere I went. Now let's talk about my first missed opportunity to become a manager. I was about 4 years in when our director had quit, and the company put out a job rec for an engineering manager. The VP of engineering came over to my desk and told me, "Reem, you should apply." I was really excited, but that excitement faded fast, and imposter syndrome kicked in so quick and so hard. I remember looking at that job description and analyzing it word for word. I met most of the qualifications, but then I got stuck on this one sentence, and I still remember it to this day. The requirement was excellent knowledge in different design patterns. You know what I did? I freaked out. I started reading about design patterns, I bought books, I tried to learn everything about that topic, and I convinced myself I wasn't ready. What I didn't have back then was a mentor, someone to give me that little nudge of confidence that I needed. I mean, I've been at the company for 4 years, I knew the code inside out, I consistently exceeded expectations in my reviews. The VP himself suggested I apply. What do? I let imposter syndrome win. And by the way, it's because of personal stories like these that I believe in the power of mentorship and being a mentor. I love being that person now, the one I needed back then at the beginning of my career. Anyway, so I didn't apply and the position went to someone else, someone with no prior software development experience. He was great and I enjoyed working with him, but this was a tough lesson to learn. And the lesson was, if you don't go after what you want, you're guaranteed not to get it. If you do, at least you have a shot. Now fast forward a year or so later, I started working for this amazing company, Discovery Education. Side note, working for a company with a mission you're passionate about is just the best feeling. This role was probably the highlight of my career, building educational platforms for children and playing a part in shaping the learning of future generations. It was just incredible. So one day when I was at the office walking to the kitchen area, I overhear a conversation in the hallway between the VP of engineering and a project manager. They were talking about a project to revamp one of the most important functionalities of the platform. And that project wasn't going well. At that time, I had a split second to decide, do I jump in and offer to lead that project or should I stay quiet? But right away, I remembered the opportunity I missed a couple of years earlier, and that gave me the push I needed. So I stopped and offered to lead the project and said I would deliver it within a month if I have 2 dedicated engineers that I would choose, and if we have dedicated space where we could focus without distractions. The VP agreed, and I worked on the project with 2 amazing engineers, and within a month we actually delivered. We improved the page load time from 2 or 3 seconds to under 600 milliseconds to load the most important features on that page. This wasn't just about being a good engineer, but it showed that I could lead a project and a team and deliver results. Now, in the first year working at Discovery Education, I also did so much. I brought the engineering discipline that I had learned in my previous role and I implemented it there. It wasn't easy. Getting people to rally around new ways of doing things never is. It took growth, it took patience, perseverance, determination, but it worked. And within a year, I was promoted to an engineering manager. But here's the thing. I was already leading before I got the title. I took initiatives, I made changes, I empowered others, and I focused on making things better. And then the promotion followed. When you put in the work and when you have the right drivers in place, which are people and impact, then I think the promotion will always follow. That was the beginning of my journey into people leadership. A couple of years later, I was promoted to a director, and then a few years later, I was promoted to a VP of engineering at a different company. But today I wanted to focus on this phase specifically because I know many people find it challenging to make that entry point into people leadership. It took me 6 years and a whole lot of growth to make that transition from an engineer to a manager. And there were lessons learned, some the hard way, but all of them were valuable. And here are the biggest ones I want you to leave with. The first one, don't let imposter syndrome stop you from pursuing opportunities. You're more capable than you think. The second one, get a mentor. Having someone to guide and encourage you can make all the difference. The third one is lead. Don't wait for the title. Start taking initiative and the promotion will follow naturally. I hope my experience and my story motivates you and empowers you, and I hope the lessons learned that I've shared with you will help you overcome similar challenges in your own career. If you want to learn more about my journey and how I got into a VP of engineering role, then watch my next video. Thank you for watching. If you find this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe, and see you in the next video.